Good morning, everybody. I'm here in Effingham, Illinois at the TA right now. I was on a load at the beginning of the day going to Sterling, Illinois, but I now have to go rescue a load. It's over in the driver, I guess something happened to his truck or something, ran out of hours on a pretty important load, I guess. He's over in Brazil, Indiana, about 85 miles away from me. And I just now got hours back. It's just after 2 a.m. So I'm going to get ready and check the truck out and stuff and get fully awake and go get this load, save a load. So stay tuned. All right, we are heading eastbound on I-70, headed toward Brazil, Indiana now. There's a little bit of confusion, I guess. Initially, they told me that my relay was over at the Metro, but he's actually over at the Pilot, right across the street. No big deal. But actually, in my last vlog, I left you guys off in Nashville, Tennessee, and obviously now I'm in Effingham, Illinois, I-70 up here. It's because I didn't vlog for the past several days. Because when I left Nashville, Tennessee, the TA there, I had to drop my trailer off over at the company yard in Atlanta. And I went in there and I had to go do an inspection bay. And for whatever reason, the mechanic said he was going to replace a drive tire, something about a recap separating. And I tried to get him to show it to me, and he was pointing at something that completely was not bad. He just pointed at the tire and he goes, "It's separating." I was looking for it. I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, it's separating. We have to replace that tire." I'm like, "Where?" And he walks up and like, it was like a scratch, like when you brush a curb or a rock or some debris on the road or something, like a kind of just like scratched the tire a little bit. It wasn't even like into the rubber or anything. It just was like, I probably could have rubbed it with a wet towel and it would have went away. But he goes, "No, we have to replace that." I'm like, "Okay, well, hey, I don't care. You want to put a new tire on my truck? Fine. Great. You know, it's better for me." So that was Friday. I showed up about 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that p.m. Thinking, okay, just a tire, no big deal. So I pull out of the inspection bay. I split my load, which means I drop the trailer basically, and then another truck has to come get it, take it to its final destination, and I go bobtail into the back, into the shop section, thinking, okay, maybe in an hour or so, someone will be knocking on my door ready to take care of this tire. That was not the case, not by a long shot. What happened was I was waiting. Ended up going to bed, waking up that morning, still nothing. Went to the shop window and I said, "Hey, did you guys put me in the system? Did you forget about me?" He goes, "Oh no, we see you here. We'll be out there when we get some time. You know, we're super busy." And they were. You know, the mechanics seemed to be pretty good, like they know what they're doing, but they were just overwhelmed. And I says, "Okay, as long as you didn't forget about me, it's all good." So Sunday night, real late, about 10-11 p.m. I was sitting in the driver's lounge, and a mechanic walks in, calls out my truck number, and I said, "Yeah, here's the keys, here you go." And I'm thinking, okay, great, you know, it's been long enough. He's gonna get me in and out, whatever. So, you know, we're all weekend sitting at the terminal now. So I'm sitting there waiting. An hour goes by. I'm like, whatever. And it's kind of cool because I was talking to some other drivers and stuff. We had the time go by pretty quick. But yeah, it took him a little longer than a couple hours. At 3 a.m., that mechanic's walking back into the driver's lounge saying, "Oh, your truck's ready." And I says, okay, great, cool, you know. Turns out they replaced 4 tires, all 4 drive tires in the front axle, which is great. I mean, wintertime's here. We're about to start seeing regular snow, so that's always a plus. Have brand new drive tires, especially on that front axle. And also, they gave me a new spare tire for it's mounted on the cab of the truck, you know, on the catwalk pretty much between the truck and the trailer. Because I had to use it several days before that, for when I explained in my previous vlog, or the vlog, 2 vlogs before this one, I guess, when the trailer had a flat tire. That's the tire they put on, was my spare. So I got 4 new drives and a brand new spare tire. So got some important stuff done, but 4 drive tires and a spare basically took from Friday, about, like I said, 1 to 3 p.m. somewhere in there, till 3 a.m. on Monday before I was finally out of the shop. So I went to sleep, woke up that next morning, and I picked up a load out of, I don't remember the name of the city. It's just outside of Atlanta. A customer called Preferred Freezer. I'm sure somebody watching this video has probably been there and they know what I'm talking about. The place is an absolute zoo, especially if there's more than like 2 trucks in that place at the same time, because it's tiny. But yeah, that place was an absolute zoo. I had a drop-in hook out of there. Basically, that means I take an empty trailer in, I drop my empty trailer, and they already have a trailer waiting on me that's loaded, ready to go. I don't have to wait in the dock waiting to get the trailer loaded. Took an hour and a half to get that taken care of. Get my empty dropped and the loaded one picked up and rolling out the gate. That frustrated me pretty good, just because of how crazy the place was. It was the literal version of the expression you hear, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. That's kind of what that place is like. But whatever, I got out of there. That's a load I have on me right now. But even that was frustrating, because that was that Monday morning. And when I picked the trailer up on my pre-trip, I noticed I had a clearance light at the top, way top rear of the trailer. And I told Breakdown about it. She said, hey, this clearance light is out. And they said, okay, you can go back to the terminal, or you can go to the Petro in Atlanta. Now I know, just by the tires that I had got put on, there was no way in hell I was going back to our terminal. So I says, okay, I will try my luck at the Petro in Atlanta, which I've had service there done before with previous companies. I know that place can be quite a wait. So I went and checked into the Petro in Atlanta, and they tell me it'll be about an 8 to 12 hour wait to get that clearance light checked out. And I said, well, shit, it's still pretty much better odds, quicker turnaround time than our terminal would be. So I said, okay, I'm out of options now. So I wait, and it didn't really take them that long. It was about 6 hours before I got a phone call to go in there. And once I was in there, it was in and out, like, super fast. Like I said, it was just the clearance light at way top rear of the trailer. So he got on his ladder and he just replaced it in like 5 minutes. But the time I was waiting to get in the shop, I actually bought myself a little Christmas present. Got myself a new CB radio. Got a Striker SR 497 HPC. And I've been pretty entertained with that since then. Been playing with it, messing with the knobs, which I shouldn't be doing, because I bought that, and obviously I drive a Cascadia, and there's no way in hell I was putting this kind of radio on the stock antennas, the stock coax and all that stuff. So they had a pretty good deal at the Atlanta Petro, the CB shop there. it's a whole package thing already set up and everything. Had it ready to go. They gave you the coax, all the mounts, and the antenna and the install. And it was like everything out the door was like $200 for that. So I was like, okay, let's do this, you know. So I had that put on, and yeah, this radio's pretty bomb. I've already been told several times that I was hurting some speakers out there, so that's pretty nice. All right, we're here. I just hope he's at the actual pilot and not the road ranger, because that would suck. Searching a truck stop for a truck that's not even there. That'd be very counterproductive. But hopefully he's not asleep yet. Probably is. They told me before I left Effingham that he ran out of hours, just 20 minutes or so before they called me. So, because originally he was supposed to meet me over in Effingham. But I don't know, there was some of the facts or something, some of the information was a little bit late or something. But it doesn't matter, I'll take the extra 85, well, technically 170 miles, I guess. It's 85 miles here, and then 85 miles back to Effingham. Yeah, I'll take the extra mileage, I appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna find this dude's truck number. Really? Now I can't help it. People parking over here. Well, JB Hunt, there's a spot that just opened over there, but you really having a tough time backing out, aren't you? Okay, and I really can't proceed until you move, so I guess we'll continue the search when you get into a nice cozy little spot in the fuel island there, Mr. Hunt. Alright, finally found my guy that I was relaying this load with, and he was awfully tired, which at first he kind of offended me, because I'm here, and actually the load that I just gave to him doesn't deliver until well, I guess now today at 3:30 p.m. and I was trying to plan my sleep accordingly, so I only got 1 hour of sleep tonight because they called me last second. They're like, "Oh, we need your help. Can you please help us out with the load here?" You know, now it wasn't that guy's fault either. I guess his truck was in the shop and stuff, and all of this, but when I got there, I knocked on his door, and maybe he was just disoriented, I don't know, but I knocked on the door, and he woke up, and I seen him open the curtain. He looked at me. I held the paperwork up, like, "Hey, you know, I'm here to swap trailers with you." And he comes in the driver's seat, and he's got his window down about half an inch, and he starts talking to me through that. I'm like, he goes, "Well, what?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm your relay." Now he's crudely parked right near the fuel island, not in a spot, kind of in the way. And he's like, before he says anything, he's like, "Where did you park?" I'm like, "Oh, I backed you into a spot over there, and it's a legitimate spot and everything. You don't got to worry about it." And he goes, "Oh." And I'm standing there, so he finally opens up the door, hands me the paperwork for super duper hot load. Rich, it's already late. Obviously not my fault, but it's already super late, and this thing needs to go right now. And he's just sitting there, so I'm like, driver, don't worry about it. I said, stay inside your truck. I will just drop your trailer for you, and all you're gonna have to do is just slide out from underneath it and go to the drop trailer over there that I dropped for you. And he says, oh, okay. So whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, dropping a trailer is not difficult. So plus, yeah, he seemed pretty disoriented, and that's what dispatch told me as well. They said just go knock on his door. It's probably better off to knock instead of call him, because he wears the CPAP machine for sleep apnea, which is pretty cool. I mean, the company that we work for, when you go through it, if you meet the requirements and body weight and neck size or whatever the hell their thing is, you're automatically, you have to take the test. And it's, I mean, everything's paid for by the company, and even if you need a machine, the company pays for it.
Attention, a new important message has arrived. Attention, a new important message has arrived.
Hopefully there's directions.
A new important message has arrived.
They kept telling me, they're like, yeah, that load goes to East St. Louis. I'm like, okay, where?
Attention.
They're like, East St. Louis. I'm like, where? You gotta tell me, where am I going to East St. Louis? And they're like, 203 something. I'm like, send it over to Qualcomm. So I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes after I hooked up. And I'm like, well, they said this is a super hot load, so I just started driving toward East St. Louis. Alright, so I dropped that trailer off at a drop yard, and apparently they had a driver real close. That was for a dedicated run, that load I just saved for Kroger. And apparently guys should be pretty much gone with it already. But something awesome just happened. I truly felt respected and appreciated. First off, when I was contacted to save that load, they actually asked me several times, can you help us out? Are you willing to do this? You know, but they let me know I didn't have to. But I said, yeah, no problem. You know, it's a pretty critical load from what I understood, how they made it sound, and I was getting hours back, and wasn't a big deal. Even though I didn't get much sleep, I knew it wasn't that. It was like, you know, all for the deadhead over to Brazil and then back over here to East St. Louis. It's like 265 miles. So and it wasn't a big deal. I said, yeah, you know, I'll help you guys out, no problem. So I'm sitting here. I came over to the pilot in East St. Louis, and I'm sitting here. I'm actually getting ready to go take a shower, and my Qualcomm goes off, and it says PO number for an additional $75 on that load. I'm like, whoa, an extra 75 bucks, huh? And I even called my dispatcher to see what was going on. He had no idea what that was. He goes, oh, maybe they sent it to you by mistake. You know, I was like, come on, just let me keep it at least. But then he said, oh, I'm getting a call from a guy named Jim, which is the Kroger account manager over there. And he said, nope, that's for me. He's just really appreciative and very thankful that I helped him out with that load. And that's awesome. You know, I've never worked at a company where first they give you an option to decline a load, you know, especially a load like that they really needed saved. You know, yeah, of course. I mean, and honestly, I think that worked better. I think I may, you know, I don't know, I may have been resentful if they were like, you have to go take this load now, you have to. You know, because that's happened before, and yeah, it makes you feel kind of like a slave or something, you know. So it was just really awesome that they paid me an extra $75 on top of what I get paid. Essentially, the extra $75 on that load, between my mileage pay and the $75, I pretty much got paid about 73 cents a mile to run that load. So I'm not complaining about that. You know, it's pretty awesome. And another thing I was pretty thankful for and felt respected and appreciated was over the weekend when I was down sitting at the terminal waiting for the mechanics to get to my truck. They, you know, the company without a fuss, you know, I was waiting for my dispatcher to get in and talk to him about some breakdown or layover pay or something. And before I even called them, a PO came across the Qualcomm for $200 for those 2 days I was down. So that's pretty awesome. The longer I'm with this current company, the more I'm thinking I made a good choice. And yeah, the more I'm liking it, the happier I'm becoming, the more I'm getting familiar with stuff, seeing how they do business here, how they treat the drivers. It's pretty awesome. And actually just now, I get off the phone with my dispatcher, and he said, "What's going on? Is there anywhere you want to be?" And I says, "Well, you know, I'll go anywhere. Just want some miles." But I told them about that, filled them in exactly what happened with the load, and I hadn't slept because I was trying to adjust my sleeping to the load I was under. So I didn't really sleep. I was in bed for about an hour when I heard the Qualcomm going off and stuff for the nighttime dispatchers asking me to help them out with that load. And I said, of course, yeah. And I said, well, if you have anything coming out tonight, if you could hook me up with that. He goes, and right there on the phone, he looked up the loads. And my next load, I have one coming out of Warrenton, Missouri, going down to Oklahoma somewhere. And then he said, what do you want to do from there? He goes, that's pretty short. He said, that's just a preloaded trailer. Gonna be ready at like 9 o'clock tonight in Warrenton. And he said, well, it's only like 300 and something miles. He goes, is it possible you can leave at like midnight, 1 a.m.-ish, and go pick up that load? So when you deliver that load in the morning, we can go grab something else. I said, absolutely. And he starts looking stuff up, and he says, I got a couple loads going to Laredo, something going somewhere else. And I was like, you know, I'm cool with Laredo. You know, it's gonna be warm down there. So yeah, let's hook it up for Laredo. So he said he was gonna see what he can do. That's not a for sure thing yet, but I mean, that's cool. That's just, you know, all the other companies I've ever worked for was, here's your load, take it, or screw off, you know. And I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're a company driver, and it's what you sign up for. But, you know, having some kind of option or opinion in the matter of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is pretty awesome. And you know, that makes me as a driver want to work harder for the company that I'm with. And I think most drivers are like that. So like I said, I'm so far pretty happy. If it keeps going like this and I continue enjoying the company and they keep treating me with respect and dignity and all that good stuff, I'll let everybody know who I work for. You know, yeah, one of the reasons I haven't said anything yet is because I don't want another K&B to happen. I don't basically want to be happy with a company and not really know what they're like. I don't want to show thousands of people out there, hey, this is a great company, and then come to find out that their safety department is a joke. You know, so if it stays like this, I'll let everyone know who I work for. So this is gonna be kind of a long video. I videoed a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try to edit this down a lot, but try to make it work. So yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It lets you know every time I make a new video, and it helps me out tremendously. So I appreciate you guys, and run hard and get paid.